Hi, it's Mark Donnigan with the Marketing Execution Podcast. Did you know that one of the reasons why startups fail is because they didn't engineer their market with the same passion they built their product? Today's episode tackles how B2B tech companies can build real demand through category design and systematic execution.
Tune in, listen up, it's marketing time. Bright ideas sparking, blowing your mind. From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Mark, you know how founders always talk about product market fit like it's the holy grail? Well, I'm starting to wonder if we've been looking at this whole thing wrong.
Well, I love where this is going. Tell me more.
So here's the thing. The data actually shows that startups fail because they can't scale. They fail because they never put the same passion and ingenuity into engineering the market that they put into engineering the product itself.
Yes, Tim, you just hit on something that I have been screaming about for years. This is the blind spot. Founders will spend 18 months obsessing over every pixel, every feature, every line of code, and then they'll throw together a go-to-market strategy in a weekend?
A weekend if you're lucky.
Right? And look, I get it. Building product is tangible. You can see it, you can touch it. But engineering a market, that's where the real magic happens. And honestly, on a Marketing Execution Podcast, we talk about this all the time because it's the thing nobody wants to face.
Okay, so let's break this down. What does it actually mean to engineer a market? Because I think a lot of founders hear that and they're like, cool, I'll run some Facebook ads.
Oh man. Okay, so there's this framework I keep coming back to. It's called the Demand Gen Jobs Flywheel. And it sounds fancy, but it's actually pretty simple. There are 4 jobs that your marketing has to do. First is capture. You got to capture attention. In a world where everyone's drowning in content, you need to actually get noticed. Second is educate. Once you have their attention, you need to teach them something. Help them understand the problem they have and why your solution matters.
And that's where most people stop, right?
Exactly. They capture and educate, and then they wonder why nobody's buying. But there's 2 more jobs. Third is engage. You need to build a relationship, get them involved, make them feel something. And then, only then, do you get to number 4, which is convert.
So it's like you can't skip steps.
You absolutely cannot skip steps. I once heard of a company that was spending like $200,000 a month on paid ads. $200,000. And they were going straight from capture to convert, just skipping the middle entirely. And they couldn't figure out why their cost per acquisition was through the roof. Ouch. When they finally slowed down and built out the educate and engage phases, their conversion rates went up by like 60%. 60! Because people only buy from people they trust.
Okay, this is really clicking for me. But here's what I'm wondering. You mentioned category design earlier. How does that fit into all of it?
This is the foundation of everything. Category design it's not just positioning, it's not just messaging, it's actually defining the game you're playing so that you can win that game.
What do you mean by defining the game?
So think about it this way. If you're competing in an existing category, you're playing by someone else's rules. The incumbent sets the criteria. They define what good looks like. But if you design a new category, you get to define what winning means. You're not the best alternative, you're the only option.
You're changing the conversation entirely.
Yeah, there was this one founder who came to me and said, we're building a better CRM. And I was like, okay, cool. You're going to compete with Salesforce. Good luck with that. But when we dug deeper, what they were really building was something totally different. It was more like a relationship intelligence platform. Completely new category, different buyers, different value prop, different everything.
And once they reframed it that way, I guess everything changed.
Right. Their messaging got clearer. Their sales conversations got easier because they weren't fighting for a slice of an existing pie. They were baking a whole new pie.
I love that. But for a founder listening to this right now, they've got limited resources, limited time. Where do they even start with all of this?
Great question. So, in the first 90 days, there are really three phases. First, you build understanding. You got to learn your market inside and out. Talk to customers, listen to sales calls, understand what's actually working and what's not. Second, you get your administration in order. Set up your tools, define your SLAs with sales, get clear on who's responsible for what. The boring but critical stuff. And then third, you take big action. You launch campaigns across that whole flywheel. Capture, educate, engage, convert. And remember, you're not just doing random acts of marketing. You're building a system. A system.
That feeds itself.
And beyond 90 days, that's when you really double down on category design. You build a content engine, you build a distribution engine, LinkedIn, Google, events, all of it working together. That's when you start building real pipeline.
Mark, that's fascinating. Let's pivot for a second and talk about what this looks like when you're trying to reach those Dream 100 accounts. How do you actually get in front of the specific companies you know you want to close?
You know, Tim, that's actually where everything we've been talking about comes together. The Dream 100 concept is that it's not just a list, it's a philosophy. And honestly, it's where most founders get this completely backward.
How so?
So they'll put together this list of companies they want to land, big logos, impressive names, and then they just blast them with cold outreach. Same generic pitch they sent to everyone else, and they wonder why nobody responds.
This spray and pray approach.
Exactly. But when you're going after specific accounts, you have to think about the relationship before the transaction. These aren't just leads in a database. They're actual humans with actual problems. And if you show up trying to sell before you've earned the right to sell, you're dead in the water.
So it ties back to that flywheel you mentioned. You still have to capture, educate, engage, then convert, even with your dream account.
Yes, that's it. The flywheel doesn't change just because you're targeting specific companies. If anything, it matters more because with a Dream 100 account, you're playing a longer game. You're building trust over time. You're showing up consistently with value before you ever ask for anything. And LinkedIn is huge for this, right? LinkedIn is massive for this. I know of a founder who targeted 50 specific accounts using nothing but organic LinkedIn content. No paid ads at first, just showing up every day with genuinely helpful stuff. Commenting on their posts, sharing their wins, being a real human being in their feed.
And what happened?
Within 6 months, he had conversations with 32 of those 50 accounts. 32! And these weren't cold conversations. These were warm because they already knew him. They'd been watching. They'd been paying attention.
So the content becomes the relationship builder.
Your content is doing the heavy lifting while you sleep. It's educating. It's building credibility. It's making people think, this person actually gets my problem. And when you finally do reach out, you're not a stranger anymore. You're someone they've been learning from.
But here's where I push back a little. A lot of founders hear this and they're like, great, I'll post on LinkedIn for 6 months and hope for the best. That feels pretty passive.
Oh, it's not passive at all. This is where the paid layer comes in. Once you've built that organic foundation, you amplify it. You run targeted ads to those specific accounts. You promote your best content directly into their feeds. You create these flows where someone sees an ad, watches a webinar, downloads a case study, and then gets a personalized outreach.
So organic builds the trust, paid accelerates the timeline.
You nailed it. And the beautiful thing is, by the time your sales team reaches out, the prospect has already consumed 3 or 4 pieces of your content. They know your point of view. They understand how you think about the problem. The sales conversation becomes about fit, not about convincing.
Which makes the whole sales cycle shorter.
So much shorter. I've seen companies cut their sales cycle in half just by warming up accounts before outreach. Because you're not starting from zero anymore. You're starting from a place of familiarity and trust.
Mark, this is really landing for me. And I think what's hitting hardest is this idea that the market engineering piece isn't separate from the product. It's not an afterthought. It's actually the thing that determines whether your product even gets a chance to succeed.
That's the whole point. The best product doesn't always win. The product that's attached to the best market strategy wins every single time. And founders who internalize that, they're the ones who break through.
Okay, so we've covered the why behind all of this, the mindset shift. Now I want to get really tactical. For the founder listening right now who's ready to roll up their sleeves, what does this actually look like week by week? Let's dig into the practical playbook.
Okay, so here's how I break it down. First 90 days, you're doing 3 things: building understanding, getting your admin house in order, and taking big action, in that order.
Wait, building understanding comes first, not campaigns?
Always first. I know a founder who hired a marketing lead and said, "Go run ads, day 1. No context, no customer conversations, no competitor research. You know what happened?
I'm guessing it wasn't good.
They burned through $40,000 in 60 days, targeting the wrong personas with the wrong message. Complete waste. So week 1, you're talking to customers. You're listening to sales calls. You're learning how competitors go to market. You're reviewing every asset you have.
Those like reconnaissance before battle.
That's a great way to put it. You wouldn't storm a building without knowing the layout. Same thing here. I worked with a lot of SaaS companies. Before they ran a single campaign, they spent 3 weeks just interviewing HR leaders, understanding the real pain points. And that research shaped everything they did after.
And then what? Admin stuff sounds boring, but I'm guessing it matters.
It matters more than people think. You need a service level agreement with sales. Who owns what? What counts as a qualified lead? How fast does sales follow up? I've seen deals die because marketing handed off a hot lead and sales didn't call for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? That's brutal.
It happens all the time. So you document everything. You set up your tools, HubSpot, Marketo, whatever you're using. You make sure your CRM is clean. Boring? Maybe. Essential? Absolutely. So I think about it in 4 lanes: capture, educate, engage, convert. And in the first 90 days, you're running plays in all 4 simultaneously. Give me an example, something concrete. Let's take capture. You start with email grooming. Clean your list, segment by role, industry, geography. Then you launch a Dream 100 campaign on LinkedIn, organic posts targeting those specific accounts. But here's the key. You're also running paid ads that drive to a webinar or a case study.
So it's not just one channel, it's multiple touches across multiple places. And the webinar piece, how does that fit?
The webinar is your educational play. You take something evergreen, a topic your ICP cares deeply about, and you promote it everywhere. LinkedIn ads pointing to it, email sequences nudging people towards it, website CTAs featuring it. One webinar promoted across every channel you have.
So it's not about creating a ton of new stuff, it's about maximizing what you already have.
Yes, that's the secret. Most founders think they need 50 pieces of content. You don't. You need 3 to 5 really good pieces. And then you distribute the heck out of them. Repurpose them. Turn a webinar into blog posts. Turn blog posts into LinkedIn carousels. Turn carousels into email sequences.
So the content engine and the distribution engine work together.
They're 2 sides of the same coin. And after 90 days, you're ready for the bigger play, category design. That's when you start shaping how the market thinks about your space. But you can't do that until you've built the foundation.
Mark, this has been incredibly tactical. We've covered so much ground today, from the philosophy of market engineering to the week-by-week playbook. Can you pull it all together for us? What's the big picture summary for founders listening right now?
All right, we started with a fundamental truth. Startups often fail because they don't put the same energy into engineering the market. That's the blind spot most founders have.
The product gets all the love.
Right. So we talked about the Demand Gen Jobs Flywheel. Capture attention first, then educate your audience, then engage and build real relationships. Only then do you earn the right to convert. You cannot skip steps. We covered category design and how defining your own game changes everything. And we got tactical with the 90-day playbook. Build understanding, get your admin tight, then take big action across all 4 lanes of the flywheel.
Mark, after everything we've discussed today, what's the one thing you really hope people don't forget?
Your product is not your competitive advantage. Your ability to make the market care is. The founders who win are the ones who realize that building something great is just the entry fee. Engineering demand is the actual game. So stop waiting for the market to discover you. Go out and build the market that needs what only you can offer.
The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.